addictions have definitely provided me with a false sense of happiness, wholeness and being. They've stopped me from really allowing myself to become present within the moment. I think my addictions have been a coping mechanism, something that I use because I'm lacking something. I've used them as a distraction from reality, and I would definitely say the difference between an addiction compared to a habit is that with the addictions I've become dependent on them in order for me to feel fulfilled, I suppose, and just in order for me to just function in this world. I do really believe that depending on the person, addictions are more prevalent. I've definitely been dependent on alcohol in the past to escape from anxiety and depression. And I was just drinking a few days a week, small amounts, and maybe occasionally binge drinking before I decided to quit. But yeah, I was definitely using alcohol as an escape. And technology. I think that we're all those that use technology are addicted. I think it's a horrible thing that us humans have created. Yes, there are some benefits. It helps us to connect with others, but definitely in a superficial way. But yeah, it helps a connection, helps to reach more people, but it also sucks in our energy, our attention, our zest for life. The way we were supposed to be living was not glued to a screen, and so yeah, like many others, technology and still is my biggest addiction. Definitely released a lot of addictions. Alcohol being the main one. Susceptibility towards addiction. I believe that it could be due to the trauma we experience as children. The lack of care that we receive, perhaps, which has resulted in self-soothing behaviours such as drinking alcohol, and going further than trauma that we experience as children through our parents and society. I guess it could be trauma experienced by past generations, so transgenerational trauma or epigenetics. Maybe, for example, someone who's an alcoholic, maybe their grandfather was an alcoholic, or maybe their grandfather experienced something super traumatic, which has now resulted a few generations down the line in them suffering with alcoholism. So I mean, there's so many different factors. It's interesting what as humans define as an addiction or define as the worst addictions. I don't really know if there is a worse addiction, if there is, or whether some addictions are worse than others. I mean, perhaps because within society, seems like the most impactful addictions seem to be alcohol, and then drugs such as crack cocaine and heroin. They seem to have the biggest effect on a person's life and on the people around them. But it's very subjective. There's all sorts of addictions. For example, Gabor Maté says that he's addicted to collecting records from a record shop, or that was one of his previous addictions. So yeah, this addiction to material, I've been through that one as well. And regardless of whether it's this mind-altering substance such as crack cocaine or alcohol. It's the same principles, I think, of this escape, this false sense of everything's okay, I'm emotionally sound, I'm feeling great, I don't have any feelings of depression and anxiety. And this is all because we're distracted. This is because I was distracted, still am sometimes distracted, particularly by technology, from my emotions, from sensations running through my body, from how I'm really feeling in the moment. And so, yeah, I just want to lift myself from addictions. I think is really important. The willingness to shift, to make a change, to release the addiction comes from within. In order for me to truly release, I need to be aware of why it is that I'm using this external source to essentially distract me from reality. What am I escaping from? That's what I want to ask myself. That's what I want to uncover. So yeah, it all comes from within. And daily practices such as meditation and self-inquiry really help with this. Asking questions to find out our deep truth. And once I've uncovered this truth, I can use the newfound knowledge to try and make a change. But as well as ourselves, others, the external people from us, super important. Of course, it's about finding the right support, but having that support from other human beings sharing their wisdom, other human beings just being there to listen and to empower us, and so we can make, again, deep within, make the choice, but with some guidance. This is a super powerful tool, a super powerful source. There is a lot of fear attached to addictions. My main fear is that I just can't do it, and that I'm going to relapse and fall back into this negative cycle. But I just try to surrender, accept that this is the reality, and just trust in myself that I can do it. Just having this like intense self-belief that I'm going to get through it, that I can release the addiction. I think that I've used a combination of other human beings, so community, and myself to release my addictions. Still a work in progress, but I really have started to see a big positive change since I began my daily practice, since I began to self-inquire, contemplate, ask myself questions and get to know my deep truth. And whilst it being a combination, for me personally, I think being true to myself has been such a powerful tool in making positive change, shifting my behaviors, and just releasing addictions. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.